Today we're in Scotland. Now you'll have to give me for the pronunciation of this place, Kirkcudbright, but I'll put it in the description. So this is the local cemetery. I just happened to stumble across it and I thought, it looks quite interesting. And certainly it's quite hilly, isn't it, you know? So they always have these walls. These walls are quite interesting. There's a seat to park your bum. That's my van. Well, I hired it anyway. Let's go in the cemetery. I always say it's such a nice sky. Well, it has been a lovely day today. And as I say, we're in Scotland, so Galloway. So it's Scotland. And hear that, the sound of virtually nothing in the distance. You can hear some cars, but they are in the distance. And I always wonder why they put them like this. See this grave here? Now, is that so you can have a picnic on there? It's like a table, isn't it? Why are they designed like that, was it? So originally they were upright, were they? And they put them down like that, or were the always that way? 1944, 1844, 80 years old, 90 years old, sorry. So they say people live longer now, but that was a long time ago. Proves I can't count. So 1844, 1944. Anyway, so you're looking a long time ago there, and they lived till they're 90. So there's no always mean that you're going to live longer now because it's the year we are. And we're talking riddles or what? I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. So that's really bizarre again. So we have a grave which goes back many years. And 1925, which is approximately, well, on the way to 100 years. 100 years, but then so someone's put some plastic flowers there, which is bizarre, isn't it? 1925. So yes, nearly 100 years ago, and there's some plastic flowers there. So I always wonder why. I mean, a lot of these graves here, nobody really, the relations are all dead and nobody really remembers them, so why don't they knock them down? But they don't, do they? So, I mean, there's something about it. I mean, when the guy who bought that plot or the woman bought that plot, how long can they have that plot for? They bought it in 1929 and they died age 80. So, I mean, they all have good innings around here. So, I mean, it'd be a good place to move to, really, and you could live to at least 90. Let's check out this one now. 82, 69, 1903. Yeah, so there's the name of the place on the thing. I can't pronounce it. Kirkcudbright. Janet Bell. I was wondering if she related to Alexander Graham Bell. Someone told me, oh, well, you make these videos and you talk too much. So, I mean, I don't know, should you just be quiet? That's how silent goes. So quite often you can't actually read who's there, you know, who's buried there. I was listening to a preacher who said, rest in peace. He said, well, the wicked will never rest in peace, so you're wasting your time chipping on the rest in peace, because if you're a wicked person and you go to hell, there's no peace with the wicked. So there it is. So there's actually some fresh flowers on this grave here. Campbell. That's a good Scottish name, isn't it? John Campbell. And again, I think they're plastic. But they look pretty, don't they? There's even a little ornament there, which has to stood upright. 1944, age 52. Also Helen died in London, 29th of January 1969, age 55. But then the oldest person in this grave is 90. So bizarre, isn't it? And there's one age 6. So that was a weird, they say if your father lived a long time, you would live a long time, or longevity in your family, but that's not always the case, because the youngest was 6 and most of them live a very short life. So, as I say, we're in Scotland, and this is a typical Scottish scene. Hills. And in memory of all the babies born asleep, commissioned by Dumfries and Galloway, Sands, stillbirths. So that's sad, isn't it? Yeah, sad. So I say it's quite steep, this cemetery. I mean, in order to get up there, you had to go to the end, I presume. I think the one time there was steps there. Let's check it out, I think there were steps there, but they're no longer steps to sort of block the entrance in. John McQueen and her husband, 33 years. And there's son John, who died in the infirmary, 1880. That's amazing when you look at all these graves. Imagine your own name would be on the gravestone. You think, oh my goodness. Age 15 months, 60, 70, 72, aged 80. Oh yeah, well maybe because the last person on the grave to be buried is the oldest. Obviously, if you died young, you'd be the first one in the grave, wouldn't you? I don't know if that's logical or what. $45, $81, $23, $56 and $62. I'm not sure we can get any higher. So I sound it's bizarre, these graves. Maybe they were originally upright and they put them there for some reason, or maybe when they were buried they wanted you to bow to them, when you come to look at the grave. See how close those graves are? It's weird, isn't it? Maybe the same family. You understand what I'm saying? Why are the graves like that? So you could read them. I think there'd be more damage to them over the years, So a bit like picnic tables, aren't they? Should have sit on. Imagine it moved and fell. Jesus. But they could fall, couldn't they? there's a cross. I quite like that cross. It's plain and simple, and it's just a cross, and it stands out from all the other graves, I think, but it's so simple. "1898 in memory, Jane, who died 1896. So there it says a dandelion. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4. Try to make the dandelion blow away. Make a wish. So it's quite steep here. It's quite steep. I'll just give you a general view of the place. There's a camper van. The place is full of, Scotland is full of camper vans. It's actually a bit of smoke over there, a bit of fire. Well, say there's no smoke without fire. Could we actually get up here with a phone in one hand and it's a bit steep actually. So I don't know. Yeah. So it still stands out, that one with the cross there. I think it's I like that one. I suppose, I mean, when I die, I was going to say if I die, we all die, don't we all? You know, we were born to die. So I mean, I sort of like that cross, but at the end of the day I won't be there to look at it, will I? But obviously I like a bigger one, because it's a bit like cars. You like a big one. Oh my god, I nearly fell. So I don't know, it just sort of sticks out. And you know, they say that the bigger the grave, you know, the smaller the grave, the more they did in life. Some of these big graves, look at me, and they were like that in life, you know, and that's what they wanted to be, you know, look at me, I've got a big car, you know, look at me, you know, got a small willy but a big car. So they're saying they buy big cars to make up for the being not very well endowed. I myself have a Mini, of course, you know, they're only very small. So there's a nice grave. I mean, you can actually read it. Oh, 2020, in loving memory, died 21st of November 2020, age 81. My God, that was this year. No wonder you can read it. Jesus. Let's check it out there, eh? This year. So that's amazing, isn't it? That's why it's so... They must own that plot. That's why they were allowed to bury here. Because most of these graves go back many years, I think. Some hundreds. Maybe this is the old part of the cemetery. So this is a beautiful area, this is. I mean, there's lots of beaches and very scenic, you know. It's got a nice town, which I can't pronounce, but we'll have a go again. Anyway, it's in the description. It was called Artist Town, so there's lots of art shops and do ceramics and this, and there's lots of coffee bars. And I say it's well worth a visit. It's about, what, the next stop would be Dumfries. So there's an interesting building there, isn't it? Looks a bit like a garage. I think at one time this is where they kept the hearse, you know, the horse-drawn hearse. So it's sort of farming country. There's a like farming vehicle going past, a tractor with a trailer. So there's a water tap there. Maybe this is the toilets. That's a couple of kettles, isn't it? So I'm always trying doors. So this seems to be the new part of the cemetery. Much loved dad who passed away 2017. And see what's on his grave here. 2 beer cans. It's amazing that. And they still got drink in them. And so I love the way they put these trinkets on or things. So look, there's the one with 2 John Smith's beer cans. He must have drank beer. Christopher. And again these plastic flowers. This is quite an interesting grave here with the blocks on. So much strength and courage and determination. She was our light in the darkness. Her infectious laughter, her smile, she brought happiness to all, forever in our hearts. It's bizarre, isn't it? So they're actually solid. They just look like they've been stuck on. 2017 again. They put lots of these ornaments on. But this is obviously the modern part of the graveyard. These people were local because I can tell. Kirkcudbright, aged 86. And again, plastic flowers. So I don't know if I actually like plastic flowers, and maybe I do. I don't think I do actually. That one's 2001, age 80. So I'm not going to read them all because 77. So I mean, my Wendy, look at that. My Wendy. So probably they had to write a bit more on, they haven't got round to it. Born in Hong Kong, 1910. Died in Kirkcudbright, September the 18th, 2012. This is weird, isn't it? That is really strange, that. Oh yeah, I know what that is, the Virgin Mary. Just come to me, I recognise her now. William John Smith, a dear dad and papa who died 31st of August 2007, aged 71. Dearly loved husband of Margaret Johnson, who died July, age 80. Also wee Jack. So I don't know, I mean, maybe these people couldn't actually afford a graveyard. I mean, a gravestone. But the actual wood is rotted away. How long are those flowers been there? 1939. Died December 2004. Something behind there, I wonder what that is. There's a thing for flowers. So these flowers are actually real, so that's lovely, isn't it? I like that, real flowers, you know. Who died the 30th of May 2005, age 70. And so these flowers are real as well. That's nice, isn't it? 85. I like to see these high numbers, you know, and 77, because I mean, how much bloody time you've got to live, you know. Because the thing about life is that one day you're like young and going for it, and next day you think, oh my God, I'm not so bloody young, and you know, and the next thing is you're dead. So I mean, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself. Your mind is on the blink. The years, they go so quickly. Who fell asleep on the 20th of September 2003, forever in our memory, Alan. So you can see it goes quite high up there, you know. I'm sorry about the camera work, it was a bit dodgy, you know, but maybe it's good. I don't know, it's not. So there's the perfect picture there with the shadows. But I just still don't like these plastic flowers. And they're everywhere, you know what I mean? I mean, there's enough plastic in the world, you know, pollution. So, plastic. I mean, look at that, it's just blue everywhere. I mean, plastic. Plastic, fantastic. So that's what I think is really horrible. Plastic flowers on the grave. In loving memory of Mum and Dad and Granny, who died the 10th of December 1993, age 15, 7, also mother, age 90. So some of them die quite young and some live forever. So they say that only the good die young. I don't know how true that is. I know some people, I mean, it seems to go on forever, you know. Someone says whinging old bitches go on forever, but I don't know. I mean, you have to be good. I mean, the thing about it is only the good die young. It's because if you die young, no one can say, oh, it's a right C-U-N-T, because you're dead, aren't you? So, oh, poor Johnny Reggae, he died when he was 20. But he was say, oh, that cunt is 84 years old, he treats everyone like horse poo. So, I mean, if you're dead, the dead can do no harm because they're dead. It's the living of the problem, isn't it? But, so one day we'll all end up here, but most of us go up and smoke now, don't we? We get cremated. So, I mean, this is a thing of the past, getting buried. One thing, it's too expensive. You know, when you die, your relations like to keep the money in their pocket, don't they? You know, spend it on a new iPhone or whatever. Are they going to spend it on a big gravestone like this one? Unlikely. Depends how much money they've got, you know. So we're getting towards the end of the cemetery now, so you know, I can always criticise my videos and say, oh, you talk too much, the camera work is too high, the camera work is too low. But give me a clue what to do. Remember to subscribe, because I need some subscribers. It gives me the desire to go on and make the videos. If you don't like my talking, I'll be quiet. But a friend of mine said, oh, you talk too much on those videos. And I said, well, that's my personality. I mean, people who make videos and they just walk without saying nothing. I mean, anyone can do that, can't they? But to actually talk and say blah blah blah. You know, you have to think about it. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Thank you.